Section 2.7, Rational Inequalities. So we're wrapping up Chapter 2 with this unique little idea where Chapter 2 we've been so focused on what something equals and what specific values are, finding zeros, finding intercepts, finding asymptotes. And then the last section says, well, let's kind of take that idea of equality, what a value specifically is, and let's change that to what collection of values could be an answer. And that's where the inequality comes into it. So this quadratic, x squared minus x minus 6, that's pretty straightforward, but we got this little guy right here, less than 0. So we don't want to know when the quadratic equals 0. We want to know when the quadratic is less than 0. Here's how we can do that. Let's find our boundaries. Let's find where it does equal 0. So we'll factor it down. X minus 3, x plus 2. So then we get negative 2 and positive 3. So at these values, the function equals 0. So let's get on a number line here. Let's say negative 2. And let's say 3. And then let's look at, some test intervals. Let's test to the left of negative 2. Let's test in between negative 2 and 3. Let's test to the right of 3 and see what happens. So choose numbers that are easy to work with. Like, don't go out of your way and kill yourself trying to come up with some extraordinary values. It's just not worth it. Let's work with negative 3. Let's work with 0. That's an easy number to work with. And let's work with 4. Let's see what we get. So if we plug negative 3 in, negative 3 squared minus negative 3 minus 6. So we have 9 plus 3 minus 6. So we end up with positive 6. So the function is positive to the left of negative 2. Let's plug in 0. 0 squared minus 0 minus 6. We get negative 6. So at 0, that means between negative 2 and 3, the function is negative. Because at negative 2, it equals 0. At 3, it equals 0. So between those two values, it has to be above or below the x-axis. It cannot be both. So now for 4, let's go ahead and plug this in. 16 minus 4 minus 6, positive 6. We have, again, positive. All right? So when is the inequality less than 0? When do the x values give us negative answers? Well, that is between negative 2 and positive 3. So on the interval from negative 2 to 3. Remember that interval notation from chapter 1? Okay, these parentheses act the same as inequalities. So if you want to, you could write it out with inequality symbols. Now, this is like the analytic way to go about it. We're also 21st century citizens. You could plug it into a graphing calculator, and okay, this would go then above the x-axis, this would go above the x-axis, but all you're interested in is this piece right here, where it's below the x-axis. And that is from negative 2 to positive 3, and that gets you your answer using the graphing calculator as well. So in the other two examples on this page, go ahead and start by plugging it into the graphing calculator. Get the inequality so that you have 0 on the other side, so you may have to add some stuff over, combine like terms, but get it so that you are greater than or less than 0. Plug that into the graphing calculator, and then see what intervals get you above or below the x-axis.